You are listening to a free version of the Majority Report with Sam Seder. To support this show and get another 15 minutes of daily program, go to majority.fm, please.
The Majority Report with Sam Seder.
It is Monday, December 14th, 2020. My name is Sam Seder. This is the 5-time award-winning Majority Report. We are broadcasting live steps from the industrially ravaged Gowanus Canal in the heartland of America, downtown Brooklyn, USA. On the program today, professor at Western New England Law School, Jennifer Taub. Her book, Big Dirty Money. Meanwhile, the Gang of Four, or whatever that number is, now to split their relief bill in an attempt to get a vote on the floor of the Senate. However, for millions, relief will come too late, and for millions others, they could be on the streets by January as the eviction moratorium ends. Meanwhile, Trump claims the White House will not get the vaccine first, as 40 million doses are to be distributed over the next month. The only problem, states don't have the money. Trump's Alamo collapses as the Supreme Court rejects the Texas lawsuit. Meanwhile, unnamed U.S. sources allege potential Russian hack of U.S. government agencies. Trump attempting to deploy a rule to bump tens of thousands of people off of Social Security disability insurance. The Cleveland baseball team has decided to drop their name and come up with a new one, presumably. Former advisor to Andrew Cuomo alleges sexual harassment. And farmers in India hold a hunger strike while protesters in Belarus demand Lushenko's resignation. Speaking of protests and rallies, lastly, that pro-Trump rally in D.C. over the weekend basically turns into a Proud Boy melee. All this and more on today's program. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for joining us at the beginning of the week. Joining me, as always, Emma Vigeland. Emma, I hope you had a good weekend.
I did. How about you, Sam?
Well, no.
Okay.
But, just counting down until we see the distribution of those shots and hopefully some form of relief for the American people. We have 12 million people who are going to be getting no unemployment insurance as of the day after Christmas. That is now 11 days from now. There's no way, regardless of what they pass, when they pass at this point, there's no way those people are going to get any type of relief in time to pay their bills, in time to, buy presents for their kids, in time for, it's going to be a disaster. And then we still have this eviction moratorium that's going to follow within days from that. And 12 million people could be subject to something like that. We've got a real problem. They're splitting it. We'll talk more later in the program about what's happening in the Senate. There's an attempt to essentially take the $900 billion bill, $908 billion, split it into two segments. One, having the controversial idea of helping out states and cities. And the horror of that, particularly when they are tasked with distributing vaccinations that presumably will at least will hopefully get us to normalcy.
And the bigger bill, that's, 748 billion, 740 billion, that would include the, I think, $560 billion left over from the CARES Act too. So it wouldn't even be that big of a chunk in the
new
purses of new money, right? But still, McConnell is banking on people not realizing that and is still screaming for austerity in many areas.
And he is leveraging this to get that immunity for corporations from lawsuits.
A worthy cause.
Indeed. And so the first bill involves sort of some of that old money, redistributing it through a new PPP. Perhaps I haven't quite seen some of the details, but it's a range of different things, including $300 a week extra for unemployment insurance, and presumably extending uninsurance for millions of Americans who are getting off it. Although I don't know how that works. If you can go back on once it's run out under that bill, I'm not sure. And then the second tranche is that state and municipal funding plus the corporate immunity, which I think would be limited. So we need more details. We will get them through the day, I think, and we'll see if that even those two get bills. Get votes. In the meantime, Donald Trump's, I want to say this is the last gasp, but there seems to be an unlimited supply of gasps by
shamelessness.
The shamelessness is never going to run out.
Yeah.
The gasps are going to run out on January, 20th at like 11:59, I think, a.m. But the Trump administration went to the Supreme Court, or I should say the Attorney General from Texas went to the Supreme Court with about 15, 16 other Republican attorney generals, with 126 Republican House members signing on to an amicus brief, arguing that the way the swing states, just coincidentally, only the swing states, ran their elections, inhibited their constitutional right to elect a president, or something to that effect. They were rejected for lack of standing. This is something that I had predicted. Many people had predicted a week or two ago that they have no standing. It's an absurd claim by a state attorney general about another state's voting.
States' rights, Republicans. It was just such an obvious effort for him to get into Trump's good graces and maybe get one of those preemptive pardons. We've talked about this over and over, but it's amazing how the personal ambitions of one particular person can be manipulated and getting people to believe that it's some sort of grander I think that noble cause.
I agree. I think that was just the inspiration for him to do it. That's where but everybody else also. Look, the bottom line is they all gain when they take these tax. They all gain politically, and that's why they do it. Meanwhile, Wisconsin Supreme Court ruled 4-3 against Trump in his efforts to overturn the results in that state. We're basically, I think, an hour away from when electors are meeting to certify Biden's win in Wisconsin. Or I should say, across the board, I think.
Well, yeah. And speaking of Wisconsin, just a reminder, Republicans are all together on this. I know that it's only a little over 100 House members.
Turned out to 126. It was the last counting I saw.
126 now? Okay. Well, it bothers me that a lot in the media, many people in the media, and many people on the Democratic side don't tie Republicans to this insane, undemocratic coup attempt, really, because we even have Ron Johnson in Wisconsin, who's going to bring in Ken Starr to look at the election irregularities. That's as mainline of a Republican senator as it gets, and they are still pretending, and they all know behind the scenes that Trump lost the election, but they're doing this and stoking these crazy fears and anger in this country, which will be dangerous for years and years to come. And the Republicans have to own that. This is the GOP. It's not just Trump.
Of course. I don't know what's worse, that they actually think that Trump won or that they think he lost. Either way, it's, one is more insane than the other and one is more craven than the other. But nevertheless, this is the Republican Party, and this is not, cowardice. This is simply a will to power. Here's Donald Trump on Fox and Friends this morning, and he is extremely upset to learn of this concept of standing. Here he is.
No judge has had the courage, including the Supreme Court. I am so disappointed in them. No judge, including the Supreme Court of the United States, has had the courage to allow it to be heard. The Supreme Court, all they did is say, we don't have standing.
Interview like in a parking lot? What, like, I don't understand. Do they not know that they just bump into each other?
Yeah, I guess, Kilmeade had a smoke break and Trump was having
anybody I can find. This whole thing.
McDonald's break?
Judge,
yeah, I don't know.
All right, go ahead.
So they're saying essentially that the president of the United States and Texas and these other states, great states, they don't have standing. They didn't go into the evidence. If you would look at the evidence, thousands of pages of evidence, we have over 1,000 affidavits from people that saw tens of thousands of ballots.
Gotcha.
Gets good. No, but here's the point. They're winning these things on little technicalities, like a thing called standing. They're saying the president of the United States does not have standing.
Right. So that's what was decided last night. So would you show up at the inauguration? Will you?
I don't want to talk about that.
It's not the president of the United States. It's the Texas AG or whatever.
Of course. But can you just imagine the dynamic now? And also it's Kilmeade. The idea that this journalist from Fox, this host of Fox and Friends, is actually sending out vibes to the president of I think we're done here.
Yeah. Right.
No. I got one more thing I got to say.
Are you going to go to the inauguration? No.
I have to say, this is the dynamic.
The technicality of standing. I love that part too.
Decades ago, back in my younger days, when I had more time on my hands, I remember distinctly getting a knock on the door, and I think it was from I think they were Seventh-day Adventists, and they were coming into, I guess, part of their missionary work. And by the end, they were saying, we have to go now. Because I would engage them too much. Hey, I got that distinct dynamic.
Right.
Where Kilmeade's okay, I get it. No, the whole court case thing. Yeah, no, I get it. Wait, I got more. I got to tell you about this. But that is Donald Trump. And I think pretty soon, just be careful. Don't walk around on the outside of any type of buildings like that, because he may corner you.
Yeah.
And force you to hear his plea as well. Meanwhile, folks, I think businesses have had to be flexible this year. A lot of folks working from home. A lot of folks, everybody's trying to figure out how they're going to keep their business alive, particularly without any government support. One of the things that have changing, hiring, obviously don't have the same opportunity maybe to see someone face to face, but you still, with all of these changes, your job is that much tougher. However, there is one place that you can always count on that makes hiring easier, faster, more organized. ZipRecruiter.com/majority. When you post a job on ZipRecruiter, it gets sent out to over 100 top job boards with one click. And then what happens is ZipRecruiter has technology that finds people with the right skills, right experience, right demeanor, disposition, actively invites them to apply to your job. It's no wonder that 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Guess what? I'm one of those people. Brendan came right through ZipRecruiter. It was great. I have to say that the whole process was super. I am not that organized. I am not and it lays it all out. You got to, you can rate the applicants so that you can sort of start to do tiers. And I interviewed a dozen people. They're all really good. Brendan was just, I don't want to say perfect, so I don't want to give him too big of a head. But
Exceptional.
He was the best.
Right.
See for yourself right now. You can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/majority. That's ZipRecruiter.com/majority. Majority, MAJORITY.
Nice.
Emma.
Yep.
Let ZipRecruiter take hiring off your plate so you can focus on growing your business. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/majority. ZipRecruiter, it is the smartest way to hire. Folks, nobody wants to leave their apartments in the middle of a pandemic. Or their house, I guess.
I kind of never want to leave my apartment ever.
I know that. It gets even worse if you're an agoraphobe. Like I think a lot of the people here, we have some of that tendency. But bottom line is, you don't want to go into the post office necessarily and wait in line. any places, any way that you can minimize your exposure outside, people are taking that opportunity. Well, here's another one. You can use your computer to print official U.S. postage 24/7.
It's amazing.
24/7, any letter, any package, any class of mail, anywhere you want to send.